What is up, y'all? It's Clutch here. Happy Sunday, and I hope everybody had a great week last week and an amazing weekend. So today, we're gonna be going over a few tickers that are on my watch list and a few plays that we're in, and why we're in them, and what we're looking for. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with this week's economic report. We don't really have too much Monday and Tuesday. Heading into Wednesday, we do have FOMC and Powell speaking after FOMC, of course. Um, this day is risk off day. You don't want to swing Wednesday into Thursday. Thursday, we have GDP pre market and PCE pre market as well. So, Wednesday into Thursday, no short dated swings. The market can switch in a blink of an eye, especially with war still going on and all the news we're getting, bouncing back and forth. But nothing less, risk off Wednesday into Thursday. Um, After Thursday, market opens. We should start seeing some great price action Thursday and Friday. So I'm excited for that there. And we do have a lot of earnings this week as well. So let's look at what we have. We have Spotify, Coca-Cola, which is actually on the watch list, Robin Hood, Bloom Energy, SoFi, Visa, Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, just to name a few. We have so many big names. QCOM, something I'm watching for as well. But yeah, huge earnings week, and we have FOMC. So keep in mind, risk off when you're swinging to Wednesday into Thursday, just because of GDP as well and PCE. So let's get straight to the charts, and let's go over Airbnb. First one on my list here. Airbnb actually has earnings next week. If you can see here, we've been in this downtrend for since 2021, right? Um, I'm watching Airbnb above 147.3. If we can break out, she's actually broke this trend line here and is kind of retesting it, and it looks like it wants to go higher, right? Breaking 147.3, I will be targeting nothing but less than around at least let's say 155, 165, 170, and then we break 170. This thing will go ballistic. This thing will go to all-time highs. Um, I don't know how long, but it will get there, right? So Airbnb is on the watch list here for this week going into next week. Like I said, it has earnings next week, so anything can happen for earnings. Cool. ARM. Let's talk about ARM. If you tuned into the last video, I told you guys why we took ARM, but man, this chart looks massive, right? Let's turn off all the drawings. If you just look at ARM, we've been consolidating here since 2024, just in the same price range, correct? So now this is the start of a big breakout, right? Could be a false breakout. Yes, it could. They have earnings coming up next week as well. So looking for this week, it looks ready for more continuation, right? Any pullback towards the 180 to 200 area is definitely a buy for a bounce, but I don't see anything stopping it at the moment, right? Other than it being overextended. Yes, just be ready to buy some pullbacks. And this thing went over 1,000%. I'm still holding one runner for further out, which is looking great, right? This thing could go to anywhere to 300 to possibly even 400, right? But let's not jump the gun. For this week, above 238, we could target 240. Above 240, 250 is in the picture, right? Next on our list is something we actually swung over the weekend, right? I didn't want to miss it just because, it's China. China moves overnight. Yes, it is risky, but I signaled for everybody to take a little bit further out just for security, just in case we get news over the weekend and we take the loss, or that way, even if it goes our direction, we can actually hold this trade a little bit longer, right? So if y'all remember, the first play of the year was Baidu, right? We started off the year so high with Baidu. We swung it from, we actually swung it over the weekend as well. And on Monday, she ended up closing here above the same trend line, right? So this is the same exact setup, almost the same, right? Obviously, this is not a bullish engulfing, but this is a bullish hammer with a lot of volume, right? We had a lot of volume here, rising volume on the same trend line breakout, right? Same trend line breakout around the same price, right? Which is funny. And we had massive days following ahead that it went from all the way from 128 to 160, right? So we're around the same price right here, 129. Um, Targeting at least 140, 150, and then 165, right? We get above 165, then yes, I'll be targeting much higher, as there's a gap fill all the way to 200. Um, but yeah, that's why we're in Baidu. That's why I wanted to get in a early position over the weekend. This thing just looks amazing. It looks amazing to me. Something I probably want to hold for a couple months as well. Not only that, we do have like this possible inverse head and shoulder setting up, with the neckline being at it right now. So we'll see how this opens tomorrow. Above 129, it should go. Needs to get past 130. Above 130, then we'll target 140, 150, and then 165. So we did buy time as well, just in case, she does want to pull back here, 124, 125, trend line bounce, and then go. Possible, yes. Who knows what's going to happen? We'll have to see at market open, correct? So Baidu looks amazing, and one of my favorite plays for the week ahead and the months ahead. Bros, right? Dutch Bros. This is something I'm watching as well. Like I said, buying time on my contracts is always something I love, because I can hold these contracts a lot longer than weekly contracts, right? That's why you be seeing me alert maybe, smaller size on the weeklies, because a lot of things can happen versus, me holding for a month, 2 months, 3 months, I can kind of capitalize off a bigger move, right? So Bros has actually been, consolidating above this big demand, right? Above this big demand used to be supply. We're above that demand, and we're kind of getting very, very tight here, right? We're getting very, very tight. So I'm watching for a break above 58.2, which is a break of this trend line, a break above the daily 200 MA, and I am going to target at least somewhere in this area here, right? This little area right here, around 64, 65 would be the first price target. If we can get above that, then we'll be targeting anywhere in the 70s and then much higher. So Bros is definitely on a watch list. It does have earnings next week as well, so we could see a pre-earnings run up. So this is something I'm definitely watching for a swing as well. Yeah, so that's it for Bros. CEG. CEG actually was on my watch last week. Didn't get an entry on this, but she looks like she wants to go a little bit higher, right? I'm watching for a pullback into 300 for a bounce, or above 314.2 to possibly see this 200 MA. And if we break this trend line here, this is going to go ballistic, right? We have price targets of 350, 380, and then all-time highs. So don't want to get ahead and jump the gun. So above 314, we can grab some calls. Target at least right here, 325, 330 area. We break 330, hold, right? You break and hold 330, hold, and target that 350, right? We like to hold our winning trades longer, and our losers not as much, right? I'm not gonna go over that one. I'll go over it. Circle, I mind this as well. When this happens, I'm watching above 111, right? This reminds me exactly of CoreWeave, right? We took that CoreWeave play, another 1,000%er, which was crazy. I'm watching Circle above 111. We could break this downtrend for, we've been in this downtrend for so long. I'm definitely watching for a quick move. This thing can go, kid you not, we get above 111. We could see a 30% move in a week. Kid you not, right? So I'm watching Circle above 111. Let me put my other alert back on. This is just for me to start watching it early. Google all-time highs are coming on Google probably tomorrow, sometime this week. They do have earnings on Wednesday, so they could get a pre-earnings run up tomorrow or Tuesday before their earnings. Above 349, you have 350. Above 350, price target magnet maybe around 400, right? So definitely want to watch Google after earnings. I don't play earnings. Earnings are a hit or miss. They can go either direction. If if I feel like taking a little YOLO play, I will. But that's something I don't really alert since it can go either direction, right? It can go either direction, and nobody knows what way it will move. Iron, this is something I called out last week. So we've been watching Iron this whole time. We had an early entry here, had a little bit of drawdown, had this day here, bought more this day, and now we're ultimately sitting above this trend line, right? Ultimately sitting above this trend line breakout. What we want to see on Iron is either a pullback to like 48, 49, bounce off this trend line and reclaim 50. On a reclaim of 50, we go long. We already have a position in this, or above 52. I would say above 52.3, 52.5. She should see 54, and then price target 60. So Iron is definitely something I'm watching. This thing can go crazy, so keep this on watch. And I know we're already in it, so let's see what it does this week. KO, they have earnings this week. It's been making this big bull flag on the weekly, kind of cup and handle looking thing. But above 77, we can take some calls and target the 78.50. We break 78.50, then we have a lot more room to go into the 80s, right? Possible double bottom here with the neckline being here, and also we have that big bull flag forming. This one moves a little bit slow, so I do recommend buying time and do not play before earnings. Wait for after earnings. If she goes before after earnings, it is what it is. There'll be more plays. Nvidia, crazy strength on the chip sectors. I know you guys saw ARM and QCOM and Intel and AMD, LRCX, everything, MU, TSM, everything moving crazy. So with everything hitting all-time highs, I'm watching it actually for Nvidia to break 212. 212 is all-time highs on Nvidia. So breaks 212, grab some 215s, 212.5 calls, and target 215, possibly even 220. We'll see how much gas she has in the tank, right? And this is only based on these current market predictions, conditions. My fault. FOMC can change things, news can change things around. So don't force a trade. Let it trigger. Once it triggers, go look at the trigger. Go look at the chart. If it lines up with everything, take the trade, right? Open, this is something we're in as well. So I got an early entry when I alerted it on Tuesday because she was breaking out and looking very, very good. And obviously by the end of the day, she kind of turned back around. She held that trend line breakout. So I'm watching see if we can continue, right? Above $6, we have nothing but room into the 8s, possibly just 7 and an 8. But above $6, we should be Gucci. But like I did mention, this is something we take lighter because it's more of a meme ticker. There was a little bit of flow behind it, which I like. But yeah, above $6, this is something I'm watching for more continuation, and then hopefully selling off our contracts for small gains, right? If she wants to go parabolic and do a meme squeeze, that'll be awesome too. So keep that on watch. QCOM. This is setting up just like CoreWeave and ARM. I can't really say too much about QCOM. They have earnings this week, but we'll see what she does after earnings. If she breaks 152, this thing can squeeze, right? SMCI looks pretty decent as well. Above 30 on SMCI, we can take a little day trade into 34, 35 area. If you break 35, then we could target that 40. Toast. This is something you probably want to buy a couple months out or maybe a few weeks out for a small swing trade. So above 29.7, I'm watching to see if we can get to 31. Above 31, we could try to hold into like the 35 area. But this is the same thing, right? Breaking out this big downtrend. Um, if she triggers, we'll take this. If not, no biggie, right? TTD. This is something I believe everybody should own for long term. This is very, very undervalued in my opinion. But above 24.3, I'm watching for a continuation into 27, 28 area. Above that, target 32. And then if we, it's something that everybody should probably be accumulating some shares or leaps. Um, Once she breaks this top trend line, this thing will probably go crazy and go into the 50s, possibly even the 70s, right? So TTD, keep this on watch. Um, and yeah, let's see what's next. And I think that's about it. So yeah, if you guys want to take these setups, I'm always posting it for everybody, posting my analysis behind the charts, all the day trades we take. Um, yeah, this was a beautiful trade. We actually took Amazon last week. We took Amazon here. Breakout, little flag, targeted all-time high. I wish we held runners on this one, but we trimmed and then left runners and stopped out at break even. But on Friday, man, she had a day. She had a day. So Amazon probably going to 300 this week. If earnings goes well, she will go to 300. But yeah, that's about it, y'all. God bless. See y'all tomorrow for live trading, and I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.